All right. It's Jared here from Crypto Plan. How is everyone going? Yeah, I hope you've had a great weekend. We had a long weekend here, so that's why I've been off the YouTubes. We had a little bit of sunshine, and then we've had a lot of rain today. So I think because of that, and possibly my 2-year-old daughter, I have had the whole thing where it's nice and warm and you're out in the sun, and then the cold weather comes in, and then the head cold comes in. So excuse the nasaliness. But anyway, before we get into it, before I start being a whinge bag, let's just get this thing over and done with. And we're talking about how I plan to exit crypto, and we're going to use the game credits chart because there's a historical history there. It's hard to use things like one harmony chart to exit out of it because we don't know where it's going to go because it's always in price discovery. So using an older chart, I'm going to explain how I get out of that so that you get a rough idea of how I'm risking off along the way. But yeah, before we do that, please like the video and subscribe and all that great stuff so that we keep on growing this channel and sharing this great content. Okay, so yeah, let's have a look at this game credits chart and just kind of look historically back. And I'm going to just draw a few things on there just to get us understanding where my head is at when it comes to this particular project. And it's similar. You could put this over to the XRP chart. I think it's my trading plan has changed a little bit over the journey. So I think I accumulated all my XRP in the base, whereas on this one, I'm kind of doing a pyramiding strategy, and I'll explain what that is later in the video. So I was watching game credits for a long time, and I knew that there was an asymmetrical trade there, as in you could buy it at 5 cents and you could potentially sell it at all-time highs, which was, you know, to me, a really attractive cryptocurrency, knowing that these things could do really well for you. But you know, as time went on, I was like, you know, shouldn't I? And then, you know, there was this tightening here where I saw the chart kind of going from 5 to 6 cents on a daily basis. And I was like, that's something I've seen before. I can see a breakout happening. It's a basing pattern. So I basically should have got it at 5 cents, but I think I got it at 6 or 7 cents anyway. The reality is that the large majority of my holdings are in this region. You know, let's say the 5 or the 6 to 8 cent region. So let's zoom in on that. So the large majority of my accumulation occurred down here. Then when it broke out, I think I added a little bit more. So let's just go and grab our pen. So I probably might have grabbed a little bit more somewhere in there. So the bulk of my position is probably at a dollar cost average of, let's say, to be safe, 8 cents, right? So, and let's say for ease of the mathematics of it, that I had 10,000 game credits accumulated at an average cost of 8 cents. So that's cost me, you know, $800. Yeah, is that $800, right? So 1,000 times 8 cents, yeah. So that's $800, and you know, I guess my initial hope was that you hold that and you ride it and die, and you get somewhere near all-time highs, and you walk away filthy rich, or much richer than you were buying in for the $800, right? But then I kind of became more bullish on it, and I thought, you know what, why would I waste the opportunity of, like, knowing that let's say I had 10,000 and I would get up here and I'd be like, oh, I got to sell some off because, you know, I really want to take some profit, and I sell a bit more and I sell. And then by the time it got to all-time highs, I'd only have 25% left because I was risking off the whole way up. So I thought, well, seeing I'm so bullish, why don't I double down on my entire holdings so that I can risk off a lot earlier and still have my original position to start selling off a lot higher, and then onwards towards all-time highs and potentially beyond all-time highs. So that is what I did. And that's, you know, if those of you who've been watching, you understand that I had nearly doubled my position, or I attempted to double my position around the 30 cents. Unfortunately, I should have waited a bit longer because there was a dip back to 17. I could have got a lot more for the same money. But hey, that's crypto. You can't predict everything. You can't predict the way the big boy Bitcoin's going to play the game. But anyway, I've averaged in let's say another 10,000 at 30 cents. So now I've got, my original 10,000 at $800, and then I've got the next 10,000 at $3,000, right? So that's the old me was like, oh, I can't buy it any more expensive than 8 cents because my cost basis is so low. But the new me that understands a little bit more about trading is like, well, for me to ride or die this bit, I need to risk off the entire trade. So I've risked on and gone, I'm bullish. I believe it's going to go to push a certain level. I believe it's going to try next to breach that level of $2, right? So that's kind of a heavy resistance area. I think 180 to $2. So probably more like 180 I'm going to have as a target to sell some of this crypto. So the accumulation that I've built here, so my extra 10,000 tokens that I built here, I plan to sell pretty much all of them at $1.80 or at in and around $1.80 on the way to $1.80 to try and average about $1.80 for all those ones that I've accumulated at around 30 cents, right? So, and what is that to me? That's that is 6 times your money. So that part of the trade, say I bought it for 3,000, 10,000, and it goes up to 18,000, and then so I minus my initial 3,000, so that's 15,000 minus my next 800, that's 14,200 that I now have in profit. So now I can ride or die with that first 10,000 till the end. And if I lose it or it messes up or whatever, I've still taken a large amount of profit on that bullish idea that I believed in this crypto and I believed that the chart could reach all-time highs. And let's say the next 10,000 bit I start scaling out at, say, $3.50, and then a little bit at $4 or $5, and then if it pushes higher and I've got half of it left, I can sell a little bit more at all-time highs, and then I can hold on to the very last 20 or 15% and see what happens at the very end, depending on what the market's doing around. If at some point earlier, Bitcoin's done its retracement, every other altcoin's done its pump, and they're all on the reversal, and Game Credits is doing the same thing, then I'll be like, just hit the sell button and get rid of them all. But that's the strategy, right? So we've got, just to recap, we've got a re-accumulation in this band, which was super exciting, and then we've got we've got this zone, and I will do it as a green because it's a sell. So we've got kind of this band here, and then we've got kind of this kind of anywhere from here upwards is the next kind of sell zone, right? So I'm going to just give them a green just so that people, watching this video, just so that people watching this video can kind of get some idea of where my head's at. Is that, the 2 brown zones here are my buys. So if I go initial 10,000 accumulation, and then we go over here, we go my 10,000 top up. So we've accumulated my initial 10,000 here, and we've topped up with my initial 10,000, and then where we are, sell 10,000-ish around there, and that's the risk off, and then we are scaling out the rest up here. So that is the plan. So, buy in the base, buy low. So whatever you sell these for is a massive amount of profit. Pyramid in at another accumulation zone. So this is another solid accumulation zone. So I've pyramided in, I've got super bullish on it. I want to make the most out of my initial position, and I don't want to have to be selling that at 180. So I've pyramided in there so that I can sell out that part of the position at 180, which is the 6x, and then I'm going to ride or die the rest to all-time highs and beyond, scaling out from anywhere between $4 and $12, let's say, at a rough guess, basically, for, every time it goes up a bit, sell 10% of it, sell 15% of it, whatever you feel like on the day, whatever you feel like is a good thing, that's what I'll be doing. And I've done that with Bitcoin miners, and it's worked for me, and I've rolled all that into gold and silver miners that are about to fire, so I bought all them in a base. But the thing is, with the Bitcoin miners, I didn't make that move, which I did here, is that during that middle consolidation period, I should have bought in again, so that the next bit that I'm riding or dying is a lot larger. So I'm correcting my mistakes as I go, and this is my pyramiding of the game credits. Now, we will go over to the XRP chart to just show you a similar story. And the only difference is that I've chosen not to buy in any higher than my cost basis on this one because I have such a large accumulation at this base. But let's say I did do that. Let's say once again I'd accumulated about 10,000 XRP in this zone here, in this 50 to kind of 63 cent zone. That's where I would have been doubling my position if I was going to play this game. And guess what? Where would I have sold it at? At about $1.80. I would have sold out just before the all-time high. So I would have accumulated at 45 cents, a doubling of my position, sold out that doubling of my position up here at this peak, 180. And then my entire ride or die risk of this base asset is now an easy money, sell when I want, whenever I want, because I know that it's all profit and there's money in the bank to walk away with depending on what's happened, right? So that's the story. Now, going over to One Harmony, we can do the same thing. We just don't have the targets. We can only predict those targets. And once again, massive amount of the position is bought in the base, kind of topped up a little bit here and topped up a little bit more here, and that's fine. So we're sitting there with a good accumulation. So all it is saying, well, my next prediction of a move is probably up to 40 cents plus. So maybe I will scale out a quarter at that point and then see what happens, and if it dips again and it comes back to here, maybe add again, if you sold that quarter, like buy that whole quarter value of profit taking worth again and then kind of go up. But at least you've taken some profits, you've risked off, you've got out of the trade, taking something away from it if it all went to poo-poo. So that's my exit plan. And just for those of you that are sticking around, I just want to point something out. And some of you are into it and some of you aren't, but I do feel like silver is just about to break out. This thing has been in this accumulation pattern for nearly a year. So all-time high, high after this March to August run at $29. So $30. This thing has been manipulatively accumulated. And this is just paper silver, mind you. This isn't bullion or anything like that. This is just the paper silver. But this price affects the market, and I think the good silver miners and the juniors are 3 to 5 leveraged on what happens in that. And I've seen that today. It's moved 3%, and one of my major kind of mid-tier silver miners has moved 8%. So it's a good kind of nearly 3x leverage. I think this thing's going to break out. I think the coiling that it's been doing here just now, it's had its silver short squeeze, pulled back down, and I just think, sorry, I just nearly had to sneeze there. I just think that this could be the breakout. So once it clears that 28 mark, it is going to fly. Just a heads up, I'm not sure if anyone's looking to trade into silver, but it could be now or never. But there still is that potential that it breaks out, kind of fires up a long way, and then comes back to test that 30 again. So I'm not going to say you'll never get at these prices again because that's silly. There's always that chance. There's always that correction, that pullback, and that retest. But right now, for me, I did put a small trade on like a 3x leverage stock, so a stock that is 3 times leveraged on the long side of the silver price. So for every percent it goes up, it should practically go up 3%. So I did put a small trade on last Friday in anticipation of this. So that's what I did, and for those of you that are into the share tradings, I'm sure you can find similar instruments if you're interested in that sort of thing. And I guess another part of it is that part of my strategy Yeah, another part of my strategy, and I just quickly had to go Google this to show you, is that I'm going to be rolling a good percentage of my profits. I'm not sure how much, but maybe let's say a third of my entire profits into gold and silver crypto, because I think that's another way to kind of double down or, increase over time your gains, and if you don't need that money immediately to do anything in particular, which, I need some of it to pay off mortgages and whatever, this is what I'm going to be doing, the idea of putting a majority of it into silver, maybe a little bit of it into gold, but knowing that silver could potentially, could potentially 5x in its price, maybe even some people are saying at a peak might get up to 300 there. Before it kind of goes into its next accumulation phase. No guarantees there, but that's the idea of if you take away a good amount of profit from crypto, park it in something like Silver Standard, Gold Standard. There's Paxos Gold. There's a whole bunch of precious metal backed cryptos out there, depending on where in the world you are. For me, I'm trading in Australia, so that's where I'm doing it. But yeah, for every one token is 1 gram of pure silver bullion, right? And this mob I'm fairly confident without ever actually having done it, that you should be able to redeem that metal at some point in the future. Now, I know that it's probably, until you have the metal in your hand, there's no guarantees, but for my purposes, it's just kind of parking that money until I know what I want to do with it, whether I want to try and get it out as silver and get it delivery, or whether I just want to then take those new gains and turn it into cash and maybe try and buy silver somewhere else or buy a property or whatever it is. But that's what I'm doing. That's a big part of my exit plan is going into gold and silver. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. That was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but hopefully for those of you who have stuck around, you've got that little bit of extra information. For those that can buy in Australia, Coinspot is the spot you can trade into these tokens. But for the rest of the world, I know that you can buy Paxos Gold on Exodus Wallet or swap into it on Exodus Wallet. And there's lots out there, That's that. I'm going to leave it there. I've been Jared. This has been Crypto Plan, and bye for now.